His virgin wife rejected him for 24 nights until the millionaire discovered her secret diary. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's get back to our main character. It was a beautiful evening, the kind where everything seemed perfect. The grand ballroom sparkled with lights, guests filled the room with laughter and chatter, and the rich aroma of fine food lingered in the air. But for Adam, none of it mattered. He stood at the center of it all, in a tuxedo that cost more than some people's yearly salary, yet felt like an invisible weight on his shoulders. He looked around, feeling disconnected. His thoughts wandered to his new wife, Emma. She was beautiful, radiant, and in his eyes, perfect. Yet, for the past 24 nights, there had been a growing distance between them. Emma, his virgin wife, had rejected him, night after night. He had tried everything, tenderness, patience, understanding. But every time he made an advance, she pushed him away. It was as if something held her back, something he couldn't understand. Adam couldn't help but feel a deep frustration mixed with confusion. What was wrong? Was it something about him? Something he had done or not done? Was it because their marriage had been arranged in the first place? There had been no grand love story, no whirlwind romance. It was a union made out of necessity, a solution to both their problems. He had inherited a fortune, but with it came certain expectations. Expectations that his life would be in perfect order, starting with the woman at his side. But what if that wasn't enough? What if there was something more to Emma's rejection? Late one evening, Adam found himself walking through their lavish mansion, his footsteps echoing off the marble floors. The house was quiet, too quiet for his liking. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was off, like there was a secret lurking just out of sight. As he passed by the study, he glanced inside, and that's when he saw it. A small, leather-bound notebook resting on the desk, half hidden under a stack of papers. His curiosity got the best of him. He walked over, picked it up, and opened it. The first page was blank, but as he flipped through the diary, his eyes widened with each word. It was Emma's secret diary, the one she had kept hidden from him. And what he found inside would change everything. The words on the pages revealed her deepest thoughts, fears, and desires. She had written about her life before marriage, the pain of being forced into a union with a stranger, and most startling of all, the truth behind her rejections. She had feared intimacy, not because of him, but because of a trauma from her past. Adam's heart sank as he read the raw emotion in her words. He hadn't known. He hadn't realized how deeply her past had affected her. In that moment, all of his anger and frustration melted away, replaced by a deep understanding and empathy. He knew that things couldn't go on like this. He had to do something. He couldn't let her continue to suffer in silence. He had to find a way to prove to her that he cared, that he would stand by her through everything. Adam closed the diary, a new determination settling in his chest. He wasn't going to give up on her. No, he would fight for her, for them. He didn't care about the wealth, the status, or the contract they had signed. All that mattered now was her, and the love he knew was hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered. With a newfound resolve, Adam made a promise to himself. He would be the man Emma needed him to be. The journey to healing would not be easy, but it would be worth it. The question now was, could Emma let go of her past and embrace a future with him? The answer, he hoped, would be in the pages of her secret diary. Oh, as Adam stood there, holding Emma's secret diary, he couldn't help but feel a mix of guilt and determination. He had read her deepest fears, the things she had been too afraid to tell him. It was as if she had been carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders, alone, without anyone to share it with. He had no idea the pain she had endured before their marriage, no idea what her rejection truly meant. But now he knew. The truth was staring him in the face, and he had to act. He had to make things right. The next morning, as the sunlight filtered through the grand windows of their mansion, Adam found himself standing at the foot of the stairs, staring up at Emma's bedroom door. It had been nearly a month since their wedding, and despite the promises they had made to each other, their relationship was still fractured. He had tried to approach her gently, to give her space, but nothing seemed to break through the wall she had built around herself. He couldn't just wait any longer. He had to talk to her, to make her understand that he was there for her, that he wasn't the enemy. With a deep breath, Adam knocked softly on her door. He waited for a moment, his heart pounding in his chest, before the door creaked open. Emma stood before him, her eyes a little puffy, as if she had been crying. She had always been beautiful, but there was something in her gaze now, something that spoke of pain, fear, and uncertainty. "Emma," Adam said softly, "can we talk?" She hesitated for a moment, then nodded and stepped aside to let him in. The room was quiet, the only sound the soft rustling of the curtains as the breeze blew in from the window. Adam looked around, taking in the soft colors of the room, the way everything seemed so carefully arranged, as if she had created a space of calm amidst the chaos she felt inside. "I read your diary," Adam said, his voice gentle but firm. Emma's eyes widened, and for a moment she looked like a deer caught in headlights. She opened her mouth as if to speak, but no words came out. "I know about your past," Adam continued. "I know why you've been pushing me away, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry for not seeing it sooner." There was a long pause, and for a moment, neither of them spoke. Emma's hands were trembling as she slowly walked over to the chair by the window and sat down. Adam stayed standing, unsure of what to do next, but his heart was full of a strange, aching tenderness for her. "You don't have to be sorry," Emma said quietly, her voice barely above a whisper. I've never been good at trusting people, and when I was forced into this marriage, it felt like I was giving up everything. My dreams, my independence, my dignity. I thought I was just another pawn in a game I couldn't win." Adam took a step closer, his gaze never leaving hers. "I don't want to be that for you. I don't want to be the person who forces you into anything. I want to understand. I want to help you heal, Emma. We don't have to follow the rules of this contract if they hurt you. I'm not asking for your love right now. I'm just asking for a chance to prove that I can be the man you need." Emma looked up at him, her eyes filled with tears. For the first time in weeks, she seemed vulnerable, open. "You don't know what it's like to feel like you've lost everything," she said, her voice breaking. "To feel like your choices don't matter, like you're being controlled by forces outside your control." Adam's heart ached as he watched her, her words cutting through him like a knife. He knelt down in front of her, placing his hand gently on hers. "I may not know exactly what you've been through," he said softly, "but I want to. I want to understand you, Emma. I don't want you to feel alone anymore. You're not alone in this, not anymore." Emma's eyes flickered with something, hope, maybe, or a flicker of trust. She squeezed his hand lightly, the first real connection they had shared in weeks. For a moment, the weight between them lifted. "I don't know if I can trust you just yet," she said quietly, "but I'm willing to try." Adam smiled softly, relief flooding through him. "That's all I'm asking for, just a chance." As he stood up, he couldn't help but feel a sense of hope. It wouldn't be easy. They had a long way to go, and there would be many obstacles ahead. But for the first time, Adam believed that maybe, just maybe, they could make it work. And he was willing to fight for it, for her, for them. The days that followed that conversation were filled with a sense of cautious optimism. Adam and Emma began to find their rhythm, but it wasn't easy. There were still walls between them, walls built from years of emotional baggage, fear, and distrust. But there was something different now. There was hope. Adam could feel it in the way Emma looked at him when she thought he wasn't paying attention, the small, soft smiles she gave him when he tried to make her laugh, the way she started to open up in little ways, sharing small pieces of herself. It wasn't much, but it was progress. Adam knew it wasn't going to be an overnight transformation, but he was willing to do whatever it took to prove to her that he could be the man she needed. One evening, about a week after their heartfelt conversation, Adam found himself sitting in their living room, a glass of whiskey in hand, as he stared out at the vast garden through the floor-to-ceiling windows. He was deep in thought when Emma came into the room, her presence as quiet as always. She had changed a lot since that night. She looked more at ease, but there was still a lingering sadness in her eyes, something she couldn't quite shake. She had been hesitant at first to open up about her past, but over time she had started to share more with Adam, little by little. He had learned about the abusive relationship she had been in before, the betrayal she had felt, and the deep scars that had made her so afraid of intimacy. He couldn't just wait any longer. He had to talk to her, to make her understand that he was there for her, that he wasn't the enemy. With a deep breath, Adam knocked softly on her door. He waited for a moment, his heart pounding in his chest, before the door creaked open. Emma stood before him, her eyes a little puffy, as if she had been crying. She had always been beautiful, but there was something in her gaze now, something that spoke of pain, fear, and uncertainty. "Adam," she said, her voice quiet but steady, "I've been thinking about what you said, about giving us a chance, and I want to try. I'm not saying I'm ready to jump into anything, but I want to try." Adam's heart skipped a beat, a sense of warmth spreading through his chest. He had been waiting for this moment, waiting for Emma to take that first step. He set down his glass and leaned forward slightly, his gaze never leaving her. "You don't have to rush, Emma. I know it's not easy, but if you're willing to try, then that's all I could ever ask for." There was a long pause as Emma sat down on the edge of the chair, her hands folded in her lap, her eyes focused on the floor. "I'm scared, Adam," she whispered. "I've been hurt before, and I don't want to let anyone in again. But you're different. You've been patient with me. You haven't pushed me. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like maybe it's okay to trust someone again." Adam's heart ached at her words. What was wrong? Was it something about him? Something he had done or not done? Was it because their marriage had been arranged in the first place? There had been no grand love story, no whirlwind romance. It was a union made out of necessity, a solution to both their problems. He had inherited a fortune, but with it came certain expectations. Expectations that his life would be in perfect order, starting with the woman at his side. She squeezed his hand, her lips curving into a small, uncertain smile. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for being patient with me, I think. I think we can make this work." Adam smiled back, his heart swelling with relief. This was the breakthrough he had been waiting for. It wasn't going to be perfect, he knew that, but it was a start. And that was enough. Over the next few days, their relationship slowly began to shift. They spent more time together, talking, laughing, sharing small moments that they had once missed. Adam made sure to show Emma that he wasn't just a man with a fortune, he was someone who cared deeply for her, someone who wanted to see her heal, to see her become the woman she deserved to be. But even as they made progress, the tension between them still lingered. Emma was still holding onto the walls she had built over the years, and Adam knew that it was going to take time to truly break through. One evening, they sat on the balcony, watching the stars in silence. Adam's hand brushed against hers, and this time, she didn't pull away. It was a small gesture, but it felt like a victory. "You know," Adam said softly, breaking the silence, "I never thought I'd be here. With you. I thought I was just going to live a life full of business deals and parties. But now I want something real. Something that's not built on money or status." Emma turned to look at him, her expression softening. "I never thought I'd be here either. But maybe we were both wrong. Maybe we can build something real together." Adam smiled, his heart full. "Maybe we can." And in that moment, he knew that no matter what came next, they were both ready to face it together. As the days went by, Adam and Emma's relationship began to take on a new dimension. It wasn't just about trust anymore. It was about discovering each other in ways they never had before. Adam watched as Emma slowly let down her guard, step by step, revealing pieces of herself she had kept hidden for so long. They began to share more moments together. The kind that felt real. The kind that made them both forget about their pasts. Even if just for a little while. One afternoon, a few weeks after their conversation on the balcony, Adam came home from a business trip to find Emma waiting for him in the living room, a small, hesitant smile on her face. "I made dinner," she said, her voice a little shy. But there was something different in the way she spoke. She wasn't trying to impress him. She wasn't trying to be anything other than herself. Adam felt a warmth spread through him as he walked over to her, seeing the effort she had put into their evening. "You didn't have to do that," he said softly. "But thank you." Emma shrugged, her smile growing a little more confident. "I wanted to," she replied. "I thought it would be nice. Adam smiled back, grateful for the small gesture, for the quiet moment of intimacy they were beginning to share. He didn't need grand gestures. This was enough for him. The two of them spent the evening together, talking over dinner, their conversation flowing easily as they shared their hopes, dreams, and fears. It was the first time they had truly felt like a married couple. The first time they had really connected on a level that wasn't about the expectations or pressures of their arrangement. Emma seemed more at ease than she had ever been, and Adam couldn't help but feel like they were on the verge of something beautiful. But as the night drew to a close, and they sat together on the couch, Emma's face grew serious. "Adam," she said quietly, "I need to tell you something. Something I've been thinking about for a while now." Adam turned to her, his heart racing slightly. "What is it?" he asked, his voice soft but concerned. Emma took a deep breath, her fingers fidgeting with the hem of her sweater as she gathered her thoughts. "I've been thinking about what we've been building," she said, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "I know we've made progress, and I know we've both come a long way. But I still have doubts. I still have fears." Adam nodded, his gaze never leaving her. He knew how hard this was for her to say, but he wasn't about to pull away now. "It's okay," he said, his tone reassuring. "What are you afraid of?" Emma hesitated for a moment, then looked up at him, her eyes filled with vulnerability. "I'm afraid of giving my heart to you," she whispered. "I'm afraid of trusting you completely because I've been hurt before. I've been betrayed, and I don't know if I can risk that again. I don't know if I can fully open up to you." Adam's heart ached as he heard her words. He understood her fear, understood the deep scars she carried. He had known that it wouldn't be easy for her to fully let go of the past, but hearing it from her still hit him hard. He reached out and gently took her hand in his grip firm but tender. "Emma, I know what you're feeling," he said softly. "I can't erase your past and I can't make the pain go away. But I can promise you that I'm not going anywhere. I'm here, and I'm not going to let you go. You don't have to be afraid of me. We don't have to rush into anything. We'll take it one day at a time." Emma looked at him, her eyes filled with doubt but also a flicker of hope. "I want to believe that," she said quietly. "I really do. But it's hard. It's so hard." Adam squeezed her hand, his voice unwavering. "I know it is. But you don't have to do this alone anymore. I'm here for you, Emma, and I always will be." They sat in silence for a moment, the weight of their conversation hanging in the air. It wasn't the end of their journey, not by a long shot, but it felt like a turning point. Emma was starting to see that Adam wasn't the same man she had feared, and Adam was beginning to understand just how much Emma had been through. Slowly, they were beginning to heal together, one step at a time. As the night wore on, Adam and Emma found themselves sitting closer together, the distance between them now just a memory. They didn't need words to understand each other, their silence speaking volumes. Emma's head eventually rested on Adam's shoulder, a small but significant gesture of trust. Adam gently kissed the top of her head, his heart swelling with affection. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. And for now, that was enough. As they sat there in the quiet of the evening, Adam knew that no matter what the future held, they were ready to face it together. Weeks passed, and Adam and Emma's relationship continued to grow in ways neither of them had expected. They were still learning about each other, still working through their fears and doubts, but there was a new sense of connection between them. What was wrong? Was it something about him? Something he had done or not done? Was it because their marriage had been arranged in the first place? There had been no grand love story, no whirlwind romance. It was a union made out of necessity, a solution to both their problems. He had inherited a fortune, but with it came certain expectations. Expectations that his life would be in perfect order, starting with the woman at his side. He looked up to see Emma standing in the doorway, her expression serious but open, as if she had something important on her mind. "Can we talk?" she asked softly, her voice tinged with uncertainty. Adam set the papers aside, his heart instantly picking up pace. "Of course," he said, gesturing for her to sit down across from him. "What's on your mind?" Emma hesitated for a moment before she walked over and sat down, her hands nervously twisting in her lap. "I've been thinking," she began, her voice steady but filled with emotion, "about everything we've been through. and about how much I've changed since we started this journey together. And I think I'm ready." Adam's heart skipped a beat, his pulse quickening as he waited for her to continue. "Ready for what?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Emma took a deep breath, her eyes locking with his. "I'm ready to take the next step," she said softly. "I'm ready to let you in completely, to trust you, to let go of the fear that's been holding me back for so long." Adam felt a rush of emotions wash over him, relief, joy, and a deep sense of gratitude. He had known that Emma's journey wouldn't be easy, that it would take time for her to truly trust him and open up to him, but hearing her say those words made everything feel worth it. "Emma," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "I'm so proud of you, and I want you to know that I'm not going anywhere. I'll always be here for you. We'll do this together, every step of the way." Emma smiled, a real, genuine smile that lit up her face. It was a smile that he hadn't seen in months, the kind of smile that made his heart swell with love for her. She reached across the table and took his hand, her touch gentle but firm. "I know," she whispered, "and I'm ready. I want us to have something real, something lasting. I'm not afraid anymore." Adam squeezed her hand, his heart overflowing with emotion. "Neither am I," he said softly. "I believe in us, Emma, and I'll do everything in my power to make sure we build the life we both deserve." They sat there for a moment, holding hands in silence, letting the weight of the moment sink in. It wasn't just about love anymore, it was about trust, commitment, and the promise of a future together. What was wrong? Was it something about him? Something he had done or not done? Was it because their marriage had been arranged in the first place? There had been no grand love story, no whirlwind romance. It was a union made out of necessity, a solution to both their problems. He had inherited a fortune, but with it came certain expectations. Expectations that his life would be in perfect order, starting with the woman at his side. There were still walls between them, walls built from years of emotional baggage, fear, and distrust. But there was something different now, there was hope. Adam could feel it in the way Emma looked at him when she thought he wasn't paying attention, the small, soft smiles she gave him when he tried to make her laugh, the way she started to open up in little ways, sharing small pieces of herself. It wasn't much, but it was progress. "Something about my father's estate." Adam felt a flicker of concern. "What do you mean?" he asked, walking back over to her. Emma sat down on the edge of the desk, her mind clearly reeling. "My father, he left me something I didn't know about." She paused, looking up at him with a mixture of confusion and uncertainty. It's a large inheritance, but there are conditions attached to it. Conditions I never expected." Adam's heart sank as he saw the stress building in Emma's eyes. He moved to sit beside her, taking her hand in his once more. "We'll figure it out," he said gently, his voice reassuring. "Whatever it is, we'll face it together." Emma nodded, taking a deep breath. "I just didn't expect any of this. I thought everything was settled." Adam squeezed her hand, a sense of determination in his chest. "No matter what happens, Emma, we'll handle it. Together. Nothing is going to tear us apart now." As the weight of the new information sank in, Adam knew that their journey was far from over. But for the first time, he was confident in their ability to face whatever came next. Together, they could handle anything. They had already made it through so much, and now, with each step forward, they were building a life they both could be proud of. One filled with love, trust, and a future they could finally see together. As Adam and Emma sat together in the study, the weight of the conversation about her father's inheritance hung heavily between them. The lawyer's call had shaken Emma, but Adam could see that she was trying to hold it together. He squeezed her hand reassuringly, reminding her that no matter what, they would face it together. "We'll figure this out," he repeated, his voice calm and steady. Emma nodded, but the uncertainty in her eyes told him she wasn't as sure as she wanted to be. She had always been independent, strong. But the news about her father's estate had opened up a whole new world of complications. I don't understand why this is coming up now," she said, her voice tinged with frustration. "Why didn't anyone tell me about this sooner?" Adam could feel the frustration building within her, and he knew it wasn't just about the inheritance. It was about the secrets, the things left unsaid, the things she had always carried with her. She had been carrying this burden alone for so long, and now it seemed like everything was coming to the surface at once. We don't have to figure everything out right away, Adam said gently, leaning forward to look her in the eye. We'll take it one step at a time. Whatever your father left you, we'll deal with it. We'll make sure it doesn't change anything between us. Emma took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. I just wish I knew what I was getting into, she said softly, her gaze distant. Adam could see the weight of her past in her eyes, the scars that had never fully healed. It wasn't just about the money. It was about the trust, the betrayal, the fear of being manipulated again. Adam knew that Emma had never felt truly secure, not in her childhood, not in her relationships, and certainly not in her marriage. He reached out and gently cupped her face in his hands, forcing her to look at him. You don't have to face this alone, he said firmly, his voice full of resolve. I'm here for you. Whatever comes next, we will handle it together. No more secrets, no more fear. Emma looked at him for a long moment, her eyes searching his for the truth in his words. Slowly, a small, hesitant smile spread across her face. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Thank you, she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. Thank you for not giving up on me. Adam smiled back, feeling a rush of warmth in his chest. I'm not going anywhere, he said quietly. You're not alone, Emma. In that moment, something shifted between them. The tension, the fear, the uncertainty, they were all still there, but Adam could feel the foundation beneath them growing stronger. They had come a long way, but they still had a long road ahead, and that was okay. Because now, for the first time, they were facing it together. A few days later, Adam and Emma visited the lawyer's office to discuss the details of her father's estate. Emma had spent the past few days reading through the legal documents, trying to make sense of the conditions attached to the inheritance. When they arrived, the lawyer greeted them with a professional smile, but there was an undercurrent of tension in the room. Thank you both for coming in, the lawyer said, motioning for them to sit. I know this is a lot to process, but we need to go over the specifics of your father's will. Adam sat beside Emma, his hand resting gently on hers as they listened to the lawyer explain the terms. It seemed her father had left her a substantial amount of money, along with a few properties. But there was one condition that caught Emma off guard. She had to live in one of the family homes for a period of 1 year, and during that time, she could not make any major changes to the property or sell it. The terms were restrictive, but not impossible. Emma's expression darkened as she processed the information. Why would he leave such a condition? She asked, her voice tinged with disbelief. The lawyer hesitated before responding. It appears that your father wanted you to reconnect with your roots, to take some time to reflect on your family legacy. He believed that the estate would provide you with a sense of stability, something he felt was important. Adam could see how hard this was for Emma. She had never felt connected to her father's legacy, had never been given the opportunity to make her own choices. This condition felt like another way for her father to control her, even after his death. It feels like another trap, Emma muttered under her breath, her frustration clear. Adam squeezed her hand again, trying to offer her some comfort. It's not a trap, he said softly. We'll figure this out. It's just another challenge, another obstacle, but we'll face it together. The lawyer gave them some time to process the information before they left the office. As they drove back to the mansion, Emma was quiet, lost in thought. Adam didn't pressure her to talk. He knew this was something she needed to work through on her own. When they arrived, Adam led her inside, and they sat together in the living room, the weight of the day hanging in the air. I don't know if I can do this, Emma said quietly, her voice shaking. I don't know if I can live in that house, surrounded by all the memories of a family I don't even feel connected to. Adam looked at her, his expression soft but firm. You don't have to do it alone, he said gently. We'll figure it out, step by step, and if you don't want to stay in that house, we'll find another way. Emma met his gaze, and for the first time in a long time, she didn't look so lost. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you for not giving up on me, for always being there. Adam smiled and pulled her close. I'm not going anywhere, he said softly, and neither are you. We'll make it through this, together. The next few weeks were a turning point for both Adam and Emma. The shock of her father's inheritance and the conditions that came with it still loomed over them, but something had shifted. They were beginning to face the challenges as a team, and Adam could feel Emma starting to trust him more with every decision they made together. The tension that had once been a constant undercurrent between them began to ease, replaced by a quiet understanding. They didn't have all the answers, but they were no longer navigating the unknown alone. One afternoon, as they sat in the garden, surrounded by the lush greenery of the estate, Adam looked over at Emma, who was gazing out at the horizon, deep in thought. He had noticed she had become more reflective recently, spending more time in solitude, and he could tell that the weight of her father's will was still affecting her. He understood, but he also knew that she was more than capable of overcoming this. "Emma," he said softly, breaking the silence, "how are you feeling about all of this? The house, the inheritance, everything." Emma turned to him, her expression thoughtful, as if she had been waiting for him to ask. "I'm not sure," she admitted, her voice quiet but steady. "It feels like I'm walking into a part of my life that I never really wanted to deal with. My father's estate, the house, the legacy. I don't know if I'm ready for all of it." Adam reached across the table, gently taking her hand in his, giving it a reassuring squeeze. "You don't have to do it all at once. We'll take it slow, step by step. You don't have to face it alone, Emma. I'm here, and I'll help you through every part of this." Emma met his gaze, her eyes filled with a mixture of gratitude and uncertainty. "But what if I'm not enough? What if I fail at this?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. Adam's heart ached at the vulnerability in her words. He could see that she was still struggling with the fear of failure, of not living up to expectations, and he knew that this was a fear she had carried for a long time. "You don't have to be perfect, Emma," he said softly. "You are enough, and I'll be right here with you, no matter what. Together we'll figure it out. We always do." Emma looked down at their joined hands, taking a deep breath. "I want to believe that," she said quietly. "But I'm so scared. What if I can't live up to the legacy my father left? What if I can't fill his shoes?" Adam gently lifted her chin, making her look at him. "You don't have to fill anyone's shoes," he said firmly. "You just need to be yourself, and that's more than enough. Your father may have left a legacy, but it's your life, Emma. You get to choose what you want it to be." Emma swallowed hard, her eyes welling up with unshed tears. "I've spent so much of my life trying to live up to other people's expectations, but I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to feel like I'm constantly running away from my past." Adam's heart swelled with emotion as he watched her struggle, but also with pride, knowing that she was beginning to let go of her fears. "You don't have to run anymore," he whispered. "You have a choice now, Emma. You have the power to decide who you want to be, and I will be here, by your side, supporting you every step of the way." There was a long pause, and for the first time in a long time, Emma smiled genuinely, softly. It wasn't a perfect smile, but it was a step toward healing, a step toward finding peace with her past. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice full of sincerity. "Thank you for not giving up on me." Adam smiled back, his heart full. "I'm not going anywhere," he said, his voice steady and full of conviction. "And you don't have to face this alone. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together." As the days passed, Emma began to make progress. She spent more time in the house, slowly allowing herself to connect with it, to see it not as a symbol of her father's control, but as a place where she could build her own future. Adam watched her with a quiet pride, knowing that this journey would take time, but he was certain she was strong enough to face whatever came next. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the estate, Emma came to him with a quiet determination. "I've decided," she said, her voice calm but firm. "I want to make the house my own. I'm not going to let the past control me anymore. I'm going to take this opportunity, and I'm going to make something beautiful out of it." Adam's heart soared with pride as he looked at her, her strength shining through in a way he had never seen before. "I'm so proud of you, Emma," he said softly, his voice filled with admiration. "You're doing it. You're taking control of your life, and I'm with you all the way." Emma smiled, a real, confident smile, the kind that spoke of hope and new beginnings. "I'm ready," she said, her voice filled with a quiet confidence. "I'm ready to take the next step, and with you by my side, I know I can do it." As they stood together, watching the sun set on the horizon, Adam knew that this was only the beginning of a new chapter for both of them. There would be challenges ahead, but they would face them together. And as long as they had each other, Adam was certain that nothing could stop them from building the life they both deserved. Oh, as Emma stood in front of the old family home, her heart was filled with a sense of accomplishment and anticipation. She had spent the past few weeks working tirelessly to transform the space, to make it her own. Every room, every corner had been touched by her hands, and it no longer felt like just a relic of her past, but a foundation for her future. Adam had been by her side the entire time, offering support and encouragement, but it was Emma's strength and determination that had made all the difference. She had faced her fears, faced the ghosts of her past, and come out stronger. Now, standing in the garden, Emma finally felt like she was in control of her own life. The inheritance, the family legacy, and all the things that had once seemed like burdens were now opportunities. "I'm ready," she said, her voice filled with a quiet confidence. "I'm ready to take the next step, and with you by my side, I know I can do it." As they stood together, watching the sun set on the horizon, Adam knew that this was only the beginning of a new chapter for both of them. There would be challenges ahead, but they would face them together. And as long as they had each other, Adam was certain that nothing could stop them from building the life they both deserved. "I couldn't have done it without you," she replied, her voice quiet but full of gratitude. "You've been my rock through all of this. I couldn't have asked for a better partner." Adam's eyes softened as he looked at her, his heart full. "You did all the hard work, Emma. I'm just glad I could be here to support you." They stood in silence for a moment, both of them taking in the beauty of the garden, the way the sunlight filtered through the trees, casting a warm glow over everything. It was peaceful, calm, a stark contrast to the chaos that had once defined Emma's life. "You know," Emma said, her voice thoughtful, "I used to think I couldn't escape my past, that it would always be there, hovering over me, holding me back. But now I see that I have the power to shape my future. I don't have to live in the shadow of what's come before. I can make my own choices, create my own story." Adam turned to her, his expression serious. "And you are," he said firmly. "You've already started. You've taken control of your life in ways most people never do. You've created something beautiful out of something that once held you back." Emma felt a sense of peace settle in her heart as she listened to Adam's words. For the first time in a long time, she didn't feel like a prisoner to her past. She felt free, free to be herself, free to pursue her dreams, and most importantly, free to love. She had built a new foundation, one that was strong enough to support everything she wanted in life. "Thank you, Adam," she whispered, her voice filled with emotion. "Thank you for believing in me, for being there every step of the way." Adam smiled, his eyes filled with warmth. "I'll always believe in you, Emma. You've proven to me and to yourself that you're capable of anything. And I'll be here, cheering you on no matter what." The evening air was cool, and the sun was beginning to set, painting the sky with hues of pink and orange. Emma and Adam sat down on the porch steps, side by side, as they watched the world around them slowly begin to quiet. For the first time, Emma felt like she was exactly where she was meant to be. With Adam by her side, she had found a sense of belonging, a place where she could finally be herself, without fear or hesitation. They didn't have all the answers, and the future was still uncertain, but in that moment, Emma knew that together they could face whatever came next. She had faced her fears, and she had emerged stronger, and with Adam's love and support, she knew that they could build a future that was not defined by the past, but by the choices they made together. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Adam turned to her, his voice soft. "Are you ready for the next step?" Emma looked at him, her heart swelling with affection. "I'm ready," she said, her voice full of conviction. "With you by my side, I'm ready for anything." Adam smiled, taking her hand in his. "Then let's take it together," he said. And as they sat together, hand in hand, Emma knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they were ready to face them. Because they had each other, and together, they could build a future full of love, hope, and endless possibilities. The days that followed were filled with quiet moments and new beginnings. Emma and Adam continued to work together, side by side, building the life they both had dreamed of. The estate, which had once felt like a prison, now felt like a home, a place filled with love, hope, and the promise of a future they could shape together. Adam watched Emma with admiration as she took charge of the property, transforming it into something more than just a place of inheritance. She was turning it into a symbol of her strength, her resilience, and her ability to overcome everything that had once held her back. As the weeks passed, Emma began to open up more, no longer hiding behind the walls she had built so carefully. She started to talk about her childhood, the difficult years she had spent in the shadow of her father's legacy, and the things that had hurt her the most. Adam listened with patience and understanding, offering her the space to heal, but also the support she needed to keep moving forward. It wasn't always easy. There were days when Emma would withdraw, days when the past seemed to creep back in, but Adam was there, steady and unwavering, reminding her that they were in this together. One afternoon, as they walked through the garden, Adam stopped and turned to Emma. "You've come so far, Emma," he said softly, his voice full of pride. "I've watched you transform, not just this place, but yourself. You're stronger than you think." Emma looked at him, her eyes filled with gratitude. "I never thought I could get here," she admitted, her voice trembling slightly. "But with you by my side, I've realized that I don't have to carry all of this alone anymore. You've given me the courage to face my past and to build a future that's mine." Adam reached for her hand, his fingers gently intertwining with hers. "You've always had that courage inside of you, Emma," he said. "I'm just glad I could be here to help you see it." They stood there for a moment, hand in hand, taking in the beauty of the garden they had nurtured together. She started to talk about her childhood, the difficult years she had spent in the shadow of her father's legacy, and the things that had hurt her the most. Adam listened with patience and understanding, offering her the space to heal, but also the support she needed to keep moving forward. It wasn't always easy. There were days when Emma would withdraw, days when the past seemed to creep back in, but Adam was there, steady and unwavering, reminding her that they were in this together. It was about the love they shared, the trust they had built, and the commitment they had made to each other. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the stars, Adam turned to Emma, his voice quiet but filled with emotion. "You know," he said, "when I first met you, I didn't know what to expect. But now I can't imagine my life without you. You've changed everything for me." Emma smiled, her heart swelling with affection. "I feel the same way," she said softly. "You've shown me what it means to truly trust someone, to let go of the fear that's been holding me back for so long." Adam took her hand in his, bringing it to his lips and kissing it gently. "I will always be here for you, Emma," he whispered. "Whatever happens, whatever comes next, I'll stand by your side. Together, we've built something beautiful, and I know that we can face anything that comes our way." Emma rested her head on his shoulder, feeling a sense of peace settle over her. She had come so far, and with Adam by her side, she knew that the future held endless possibilities. There would be challenges ahead, of course, but she no longer feared them. They were ready for whatever life had in store for them. "I'm ready too," she whispered, her voice filled with confidence. "With you, I'm ready for anything." And as they sat together, under the vast, starry sky, they knew that no matter what the future held, they would face it together. They had already proven to each other that love, trust, and commitment could overcome even the greatest obstacles. Together, they had found a home not just in the estate, but in each other, and that was all they needed. And so, as the night stretched on, filled with the promise of new beginnings, Emma and Adam knew that they had truly found their place in the world together, forever, building the future they both deserved. "You've shown me what it means to truly trust someone, to let go of the fear that's been holding me back for so long." Adam took her hand in his, bringing it to his lips and kissing it gently. "I will always be here for you, Emma," he whispered. "Whatever happens, whatever comes next, I'll stand by your side. Together, we've built something beautiful, and I know that we can face anything that comes our way." Emma rested her head on his shoulder, feeling a sense of peace settle over her. With every step, Emma finds strength, and with Adam's unwavering support, she discovers that the future is full of endless possibilities. Their bond grows as they work through challenges, including Emma's father's inheritance, showing that millionaire stories are not just about wealth, but about the true value of love and partnership. As Emma opens up, embraces her past, and overcomes the fear that held her back, she begins to create a life that is truly her own. This millionaire story proves that no matter how dark the past may seem, the future holds a chance for redemption and happiness. Follow along as Emma and Adam build a beautiful life together, a testament to the power of love, trust, and second chances. This is just one of many millionaire stories that remind us that life can surprise us when we least expect it, and the greatest riches are found in the connections we make. Don't miss out on this emotional and inspiring journey. Witness how a simple act of love can change everything in these unforgettable millionaire stories.